And I've decided to post a quick video, very quick, on replacing your trim. So this is not on removing your trim. That is done with these tools right here. I could probably put that in another video. Just a long screwdriver, flathead. This and this can take out all the trim, and also a razor blade so you don't start peeling off the paint. You might see these little things in there. Sole purpose of those is to have the trim that was put on back then to have something to tack onto with the nail. So you'll see those every couple of feet, not a necessity that you keep them. To start off, the easiest way to start is to do the walls that require less work. So I have 12-foot pieces from Home Depot, and I'm going to start on this back wall. And I have two walls that are going to use a whole piece. It's going to be a whole 12-foot piece there, and a whole 12-foot piece here, and I have some change to cut there. So I'm going to cut a 45 on the right side of this one, right here at the end, and then on the left side of this one. So this is the saw we're going to be using, a table saw. It cuts straight down and it cuts 45, one of two directions in this video. So in order to get the trim cut to the angle that you need in each corner of your room, you're going to have to manipulate the board to get the exact 45-degree cut you want. Okay, so before you start your first cut, you need to place your board where it's going to be flat, and if you don't have somebody to help you, just make whatever you have at hand work. Since you're using the whole piece, try to save as much as you can and put it at the way edge. So set your saw at 45 degrees and lock it in place so you don't hurt yourself. And the saw has a 45-degree mark on there, so you know what you're doing. So something to keep in mind all the time is the bottom part of the trim. So we're cutting the right side of the trim here, so keep in mind the bottom part of the trim to aid you in the direction that it's going into the room and into the saw. Keep that in mind all the time. So what I want to note here is one of two things that are necessary. The board, in order to feed it into the saw, must be flat horizontally from left to right going in. And the back of the saw, there's a plate that needs to be absolutely flush. It's very important when cutting angles. It needs to be flush with your wood in order to feed it in there. Next, those are the two steps. You're gonna eyeball your 45-degree cut, and the most important step here is holding very tight with your left hand. You can see mine, and that's very important so you don't chop off your hand. This is the result. This is the scrap piece. So now this is gonna sit on the right side of this, gets plugged in. Okay, here we are with the piece. I literally sawed it out there and shot it through the windows open, put it on the floor. So as you can see, this has literally just been put into place. So this is the 45 that we cut. Here's what it looks like. If your house is old like mine, the walls might be bowled in like this, and the 45 it might not be perfect, so you might have to make some adjustments or just use caulking to clear up any mistakes. There's the whole piece, so I'm gonna need a scrap there, and I'm gonna need another whole piece, and this time I'm gonna cut on the left side of it a 45. With this side, when we're cutting it, we're gonna be cutting the left side of the board. So let me show you how that's gonna look at the blade. So here at the blade, the base is on the top part. So we make this flush up here, that's important. and we're cutting from the right side again, but keep in mind that this is flipped around. So inside the room, it goes in like this, and the wall's about right here, and it plugs in like that. But we're upside down in another dimension, and we're cutting the right side again because it's flipped upside down. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now I've plugged in that piece and I've plugged in this piece. This is the 12-foot piece. It's just been cut and plugged in, and that's, shove it in there. Don't worry about the gap up here. It'll be nailed and pulled against the wall and then filled with caulking. So now that you know how to cut on the inside 45 sticking inward, let's go ahead and fill the room, fill this gap. I'm gonna trim a piece here, a straight piece connect to this piece, and then a 45 on that side. Okay, so here we are missing that's the corner we did, and we're missing this tiny piece. So how to get that piece is to take the measurement from the wall where it's gonna be pressed against up to the end piece where you need to chop. Looking right above it, it's gonna be about 4.5, and I already made the cut for you. So it's right here, and on the right side with this base on the bottom, we needed the 45 to be on the right, and on the left side we just need the end piece of the board. To simulate the end piece, we just slice the saw downward, and I made a quick video to show you how to do this piece and any other similar pieces like this. So it plugs in there. The saw makes some ugly stuff like this. If you have a good saw, you probably won't, but I don't have a great one. Nail's gonna put this tacked into place, and the caulking's gonna seal that chip, and you won't even be able to tell. And I made this little piece come in the closet, so it's not gonna be seen that much. The next part we gotta do is this closet. So we're gonna have a 45 on the left, the measurement, and then a 45 on the right. So I'm gonna knock out that, and then we're gonna come and video this external 45s. Completed the inside 45s in the closet for that back wall. Completed this side, that. Now we're getting to this shooting outward corner. So inside we're gonna have another 45. You already know how to do that. We're gonna take the measurement, which is 28.5. And I like my measurements to be accurate. So you'll see it's 28.5 is a little short, this line. The next one is the quarter, and that's a little long. So right in between is 28 1/8. So if you count each one of these tiny little lines, there's 16 till you get to the 29. Every other one, there's a long line written out there, and that's 1/8. So you want a 28.5 and 1/8, and that's where we're gonna cut it. So we're gonna measure 28.5, 1/8, and then shoot the 45 outward, because it's got to connect to another 45 coming outward. So this, unlike the corner inside, we're not getting the measurement and then shooting inward of the measurement. We're getting the measurement and shooting outward with the 45. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, so to cut the outside 45, it's not very different than the inside. So keep in mind the bottom of the trim, the base, in order to ensure the direction of that you need to feed it into the machine. So in this circumstance, I had a problem where the chair on my right wasn't giving me that horizontal level 180 degree flat surface that I needed. So I had to address that. I'm gonna have to press it down really tightly. But as you can see here, the blade touching the end piece for the outside, it looks a little bit different. And keep in mind this little triangle that the outside is going to create. So it's kind of like a void piece. But keep in mind that you're creating these triangle pieces, but do not worry about the measurement or the size of them. Just keep in mind your measurements from wall to wall. Wherever the saw hits the table, that's the point of the measurement that you need. This can be a tricky cut, but once you understand how to do it, then you'll be able to get your outside pieces really good. So this is after the cut, and this is kind of what it looks like on the right side here. So this is the end result. You get a 45, the measurement. What I mean by the measurement is the measurement goes all the way to the wall here, and it digs into it. And this is part of the measurement. So you slide it in, and that measurement you got goes from wall, and the measurement stops right here at this corner. So that's the measurement you got, and it generates this extra ½ inch or whatever it is. It's about 3/4 of an inch. So this is the measurement you got. This is what I mean by measurement, the corner to corner. So this end corner, you're stopping there and you're creating a cut to come outward. So this tiny triangle piece is not included. It's easy to get confused and take the measurement from here, but you're actually about 3/4 off. And this is your measurement. You stop your measurement from the board to your measurement, and then you shoot outward because you need it to come outward. And by the way, this one came out perfect. You can see it's real tight right there and real loose right here. That's because of the design of the wall, shifting of the wall. Came out perfect. So now this one is 2 outward ones. I'm going to take the measurement from that corner to this corner, and there's going to be a shoot outward again. So I need a shoot outward from the left side and the right side over there. So here's a mistake I made. I wanted to include in the video. I was 1.5 inches short. All you do is cut the 45 outside on the saw, slide over the board, and cut the exact same 45, and that'll give you that piece that you need to plug in there. Nail it once and cock it, and the mistake goes away. Alright, so this is how the room turned out. As soon as you walk in, I'm starting to put the nails in. Came out pretty decent. I made some mistakes and I refused to perfect them. I'm kind of on a time schedule, so this is my first mistake. I was about 3/4 of an inch short. I just chopped another piece until I got it right. So the caulking's gonna fix that. I'll show you in the end video. Straight piece over here, that one looks pretty good. That corner looks pretty good. Over here is my mistake. I can fix this. I have a piece outside. I just choose not to. Same thing, chopped it. Once I push it all tight together and caulk it with some paint, then you won't be able to tell the difference. Especially, another thing to think about is when you walk in, you want to have your big solid pieces like that. That way you won't see the mistakes in the big parts. So you might have furniture. You want to think about your furniture. You might have a dresser here. So you want to keep your mistakes towards the closet, where really, when you walk in the room, you're not going to see that. So another thing to keep in mind. So as far as caulking goes, doing a straight line is fairly easy. You just do a nice, decent line. Don't want it to be over thick. So that one, so clean. I really don't have to run my hand through it, but you'll see a slight air gap right there. You don't want that. So for line, your finger's gonna get a big bead at the end like this, and you can use that not to waste product in the corners that you'll get around to, just like that. This video's taking a lot longer than expected, but here's the end result. I have not caulked the bottom from the floor to the trim, but I did caulk up here. It's already kind of turning yellowish. I haven't painted it either. So this is what the corners look like, pretty decent. This is another corner over here. There's a additional piece. All this is straight line. We've got some more baby products in here. I got about a month left before the due date. And here is one of the smaller pieces. There's a line. It looks pretty decent with paint. You can't even tell. That corner looks decent. Straight lines look the best, so all this is gonna look really good. Back here was my first mistake, and even like from right here, you can barely tell. So needs a little bit more caulk, but again, the paint will probably take care of that. Straight line over here looks pretty damn perfect. All the way to back there. We've got the shelf in place, like I said, so the mistakes back there don't even matter. And let's see, here's the biggest mistake here. Again, I left it here on purpose. So you can see it definitely needs a coat of paint and probably needs another coat of caulking. But yeah, that's what it looks like, and from far back here you can't even tell. So I'm not concerned about stuff like that. And yeah, this is the final product of the baby room. So yep. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Like it, subscribe it, leave a comment, do whatever you gotta do. Thanks for your support.